Very good evening everyone. Welcome to IAS with Arihant. Student, as you know, every day at 9 p.m. we are discussing about Indian polity, and basically this series is totally dedicated for students those who are preparing for any state PSC examination as well as for the UPSC examination. So basically this series is called as Prelims Possible, as this series based on a book that is especially published by Arihant, and students, it is going to help you a lot in your preparation. Along with that, students, it is going to help you for your mains. Okay, means because once you clear the prelims examination, then you go for the mains, as well as it contains lots of features. Okay, I'm going to share with that that data with you, and after that we'll do MCQs. As you know, we are discussing about the fundamental right, and today we are going to conclude this chapter, as it is a very big chapter. So we are going to conclude this also, but yes, before that, what this book contains, as this book is divided into chapters, and chapters is divided into topics, and these topics contain MCQs. Along with that, students, there's a topic based mind map. A beautiful feature of this book is it contains mind maps. Okay, so that give a quick revision, as well as students, it will be concise data that is going to help you in the examination too. And explanation part is also very great, because it contains error-free explanation that will help you in the mains answer writing. Okay, there will be knowledge plus for the typical questions and 3500 plus PYQ bullets, students. So we are going to start with the same. And yesterday we discussed about the means of 5 fundamental right. Now today we are going to start with the right to constitutional remedies, but I will give a quick outline, students. As you know, students, fundamental right is mentioned under part 3 of the Indian Constitution. The article range between 12 to 35, as well as it is derived from USA, as US Constitution is the world first written constitution. So we derive this concept from USA, students. Another very important feature and fact about the fundamental right, it is enforceable in court of law, as well as it is creating limitation on executive. So executive activity means basically there will be a limitation on the activities for the government. So they can't take your fundamental right. State can't take your fundamental right. So this is very important to understand, and this is the direct question of UPSC in multiple examination, like in the CDS as well as in the NDA. Basically this fundamental right creating what? So it is creating limitation over the executive activity, limitation over the state. Okay, so these things will be there. So see, student, we have initially 7 fundamental right, but now we have 6 fundamental right. Okay, one fundamental right, that was right to property, it was in under article 31, and students, it was in under article 19 clause 1 subclause F of Indian Constitution. It was removed, or it is shifted to part 12 of Indian Constitution, and there is a special article, article 300A. Initially, right to property was a fundamental right. Now it is a legal right, students. What it is? It is a legal right. Okay, so this is one thing. And students, see, our fundamental right is basically part of the cornerstone of Indian Constitution. So fundamental right and DPSP is considered as the cornerstone of Indian Constitution. Along one more data, it is called as heart and soul. Okay, so this word is basically this constitutional remedies article 32 is called as heart and soul, and this word is specially mentioned by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Why? As you know, students, fundamental right is not absolute, but yes, fundamental right means available to every citizen as well as non-citizen too. Okay, okay, just give me a second. Okay, so I have to correct this camera. Just give me a second, students. I hope I'm visible to you. So student, what you find basically, Dr. B.R. means, as you know, we have 6 fundamental right, and right to constitutional remedies means protection of your fundamental right is also your fundamental right. So under Article 32 of Indian Constitution, it is mentioned that if state is going to take away your fundamental right, in that case you can move to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court in the protection of fundamental right of any citizen and non-citizen too. So basically this right is available to individual. Okay, so if a single person is there and basically his fundamental right is deprived or his fundamental right is violated, in that case he or she directly can reach to the Supreme Court. So basically that's why if this right is not there, means other right is going to be just for a show off, it is not going to be used. So implementation, for the implementation part, Article 32 is very important. There is a check and balance. So what you find, students, basically Article 32 make our constitution live. Okay, let's suppose there is no authority. If a state going to take away your fundamental right, there is no authority to address that issue. In that case, what you find, students, there will be you will feel that the constitution is just for name. Okay, but if there is a check and balance, there is Article 32, it is protecting your fundamental right, means that this is making fundamental right as well as constitution alive. So in that case, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says that it is heart and soul of the Indian Constitution, as well as it is available to every individual. And for the violation, let's suppose someone means take away your fundamental right, then you can appeal to the Supreme Court on the violation of fundamental right. And students, Supreme Court as well as High Court both can issue writs. Supreme Court, especially for the protection of fundamental right, there is Article number 32, and High Court issuing writs by 226. We will discuss the same thing in the when we are discussing about the chapter, that is Supreme Court and High Court. So here we already mentioned Supreme Court issuing writs under Article 32, High Courts issuing writs under Article 226. So Supreme Court issuing writs, 5 type of writs, and there is a meaning of the writs also. So habeas corpus basically means that to have the body or to present the body of. When it is going to be introduced, student, let's suppose someone going to be arrested and he or she is not basically produced before the court or nearest magistrate within 24 hours. It means that his or her fundamental right is going to be violated. Okay, so in that case, habeas corpus is used by Supreme Court. Basically they are directing the police official to present the body, okay, to have the body. That's why it is here, habeas corpus. Then mandamus, let's suppose some government official or private official, they are basically misusing their power. In that case, students, mandamus is going to be used. It means that we command you. So Supreme Court can issue mandamus and direct the official, don't misuse your power. Okay, what is your duty and for what purpose you are there, just follow your duty. Okay, don't misuse your post and power. After that, students, then prohibition and sortory both is connected for the court. So it is for the court. What is prohibition? Let's suppose some case is there and this case is belonging to civil matter, but by some fraudulent activity, this case is shifted to criminal court, and where this is started. Okay, so in that case, the higher court or the Supreme Court can give can issue writs named as prohibition to stop the case, and means basically Supreme Court is going to direct the court to stop this case and just send to the right place. Okay, then certory is there, to be certified. Okay, for what it is used, let's suppose there is a judgment, let's suppose it is a criminal case and judgment is derived or it is originated from the civil court. In that case, students, the civil court is different places, criminal court has different basically jurisdiction area. So in that case, basically the higher authority or Supreme Court can direct the court what verdict you give, and it is going to be null, and this case is going to be reopened once again in the another court. Students, I hope you all getting it. And students, there is a quo warranto. So quo warranto, a writ or legal action. Let's suppose someone acquire a post by introducing fake document, wrong document. In that case, students, this writs or basically Q warrant is going to be used by Supreme Court, and basically under this they are directing ki just leave the post which you got and make it open for the public employment, okay, if someone produce wrong information. So this is about this chapter and means this topic, and now we are going to start with the MCQs. Okay, I hope you all getting it. Okay, now so just see it, and if you feel doubt, just tell me. Now, so first question on the screen, given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion and other as reason. So assertion says that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has described Article 32 of Indian Constitution as the very soul of it. Okay. A reason is here, Article 32 provide an effective remedy against the violation of fundamental right. Now, what is right? Means which statement is correct and what is the right option? So select the correct answer from the code given below. So if you see a student's assertion, so Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says Article 32 as a very soul of it, or you can say heart and soul. Okay, so heart and soul, basically it is making Constitution live, and reason is defining here. Article 32 provides an effective remedy against the violation of fundamental rights. So as you know, okay, basically under this Supreme Court, for the protection of fundamental right, Supreme Court can issue writs, and there are 5 type of writs. So basically a reason is justifying or explaining assertion. So it means that both statements are correct and reason is the correct explanation of a student. So if you see here, just go with the option A. Both A and are true, means assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of A. I hope you all getting it. Anybody have any doubt? If you feel any difficulties, just share with me. Otherwise, we are going to see the explanation part. So both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Article 32, which is the right to constitutional remedies, gives a citizen the right to move the Supreme Court directly in case of violation of any fundamental right. So the Supreme Court will issue writs to implement fundamental rights. The right to constitutional remedies is one of the greatest safeguard that can provided by the individual safety and security. So that's why Dr. B.R. Ambedkar stated that right are the very soul of the Constitution. Okay, I hope you all getting it. Now see, this question was in UPPSC means 2007, and basically this question says that when the Supreme Court issue writs to a person or to an institution to perform its duty, it is called as. So let's suppose any official who is not performing their duty, not basically misusing their power and post. So which type of writs can issued by courts, students, or Supreme Court under Article 32? So options are certiorari, mandamus, quo warranto, and habeas corpus. We already discussed all. Basically certiorari is used for court, and in court, let's suppose judgment is there. Okay, if judgment is there, then basically Supreme Court nullify case and then reopen it. Okay, mandamus is basically issued for officials if someone not performing their duty. Okay, not performing their duty. In that case, Supreme Court will guide ki don't misuse your power. What power given to you, just serve to the people. So basically this is going to be the mandamus. And quo warranto is basically used for if someone got post, any official post by producing fake document. Habeas corpus is for the detention or arrest. So illegal arrest or illegal detention, or maybe they are not following the procedure, that is 24 hours. In that case, students, this can be issued. Now just see the answer. When the Supreme Court issue writs to a person or to an institution to perform its duty, it is called as mandamus. So mandamus, it is a Latin origin word. It means that we command. Okay, so it is an order of a superior court to the lower law authority, public authority, to perform an act which fall within its duty, and it is basically issued by to secure the performance of public duties as well as to enforce private right held by the public authority. It can be basically summed up as a writs issued to public official to a duty that he has failed to do so far. Okay, I hope it is you all getting it. Okay students, so these are the data, just take it, and we already discussed about the same. And as I told you already, this series is going to help you in prelims. Along with that students, this explanation is going to help in the mains. Okay, so that's why this session is going to be important for you. Now we are moving towards the next question. It was in UPPSC 2019. Which of the following is not correctly matched? Habeas corpus, sorry. Okay, so habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto. So which is not correctly matched? Habeas corpus, to have body of, mandamus, we command, prohibition, to be certified, and quo warranto, by what authority? What you find, students, to be certified, it is for the certiorari. Okay, prohibition means forbid. Okay, so it means that statement C or the option C is not right match. So right match is basically I already mentioned. Okay, and we already discussed about the same. So pair C is not correctly matched because prohibition means to forbid. It is issued by higher court to the lower court to prevent the exceeding jurisdiction. So it is applicable only against judicial and quasi-judicial bodies. It is not available against the administrative authorities, legislative body, and private individual or any other body, students. Now see the next question. And students, this portion, okay, this portion is, as I told you already, it is going to help you in the concept building, means answer writing, as well as for getting the right answer too. Now see the fourth question. Which one of the following right was described by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as heart and soul of Indian Constitution? So this was in UPPSC pre 2002. So right to freedom of religion, right to property, right to equality, right to constitutional remedies. Okay, so right to freedom of religion, article 25 to 28, we already discussed about the same. Right to property was under article 31. Along with that, students, under article 19 clause 1 subclause F, but now it is shifted to part number 12 of Indian Constitution under article 300A, and now right to property is a legal right, students. Okay, then we have right to equality, that is between article 14 to 18, and as you know, we have constitutional remedies, that is protecting our fundamental right, and it is mentioned under article 32 of Indian Constitution. And this right to constitutional remedies is considered as the heart and soul of Indian Constitution. So option D is going to be right for the same, students. I hope you all getting it. Okay, so this type of questions you will see in your examination. Now just move to the next question. Means explanation part. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar called right to constitutional remedies article 32 as a heart and soul of Indian Constitution because it provides Supreme Court with the power of judicial review in case any law which violates any fundamental right. It provided a citizen of India with a right to approach court directly in case of violation of their fundamental right. It empowers the Supreme Court to issue writs in the case of violation of fundamental rights, students. Now, this question was in Bihar PSC year 2019. Now, which of the following constitutional remedies is known as post-mortem? Okay, so it is prohibition, it is mandamus, it is certiorari, it is quo warranto, and none of the above or more than above, students. So as you know, prohibition is basically issued for the court. Okay, so as well as certiorari, both is issued for the court. Okay, and mandamus is basically for any administrative official. Quo warranto is basically issued if someone got a post a government job or any post, and by producing fake documents or by somehow. So in that case, students, when Q warrant is going to be used, okay, so when Supreme Court is going to direct it as a Q warrant, it means that his background is going to be checked, and that's why it is called as post-mortem. Okay, so this is another important thing that you must know. I hope you all getting it. So Q warrant is going to be right answer for the same, and we have explanation too. So writs of Q warrant is also known as post-mortem because it examines the person after his complete appointment to a position. So if someone got it, then there will be the background check, background examine. In that case, students, this considered is called as post-mortem. So Q warrant literally means by what authority, and it is issued by court to require into the legality of claim of a person to a public office. Now see the next question. It was in MPPSC as well as UPPSC. So which one of the following writs can be issued by a high court to secure the liberty of individual? So which one of the following writs can be issued by high court to secure the liberty of individual? It is mandamus, it is Q warranto, it is habeas corpus, it is prohibition. So which one of the following writs can be issued by high court to secure the liberty of individual? Getting it? Okay, so mandamus, so secure the liberty of individual. Okay, mandamus, Q warranto, habeas corpus and prohibition. So mandamus is basically for what? If some official misusing his post, and Q warranto is for what? If someone acquired a post by producing fake document. Prohibition for the court. So what you find, students, habeas corpus is connected with the liberty of individual, students. Okay, and it can issued by court too by using Article 226. Okay, now if you see the next question, it was in Manipur PSC 2010. Under which article of Indian Constitution can an individual move to the Supreme Court directly in case of violation of fundamental right? It is under Article 13, it is under Article 14, under Article 32 or under Article 34, students. So as we already discussed, Article 13 is about the judicial review. Okay, so it is not mentioned directly, but they are mentioning that if any law which is basically inconsistent with the fundamental right, that law is going to be void. So now there is a question, who is going to declare as void? So it is Supreme Court. So judicial review concept is mentioned on Article 13 of Indian Constitution. Article 14, as you know, equality before law and equal protection of law. Article 32 is basically for the constitutional remedies, and in that case, student, if someone's fundamental right is violated, so by Article 32, Supreme Court can issue writs. How many type of writs are there? 5 type of writs. And then we have Article 34 that is mentioning about the basically there is a martial areas. Okay, so we'll discuss about that too. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution, an individual move to Supreme Court in case of violation of fundamental right. Article 32 described as the cornerstone of the democratic edifice raised by the Constitution. In 1950, Ramesh Thapar versus State of Madras case, Supreme Court held that it is because of this article, Supreme Court should be declared as guardian and protector of Indian Constitution. So Ramesh Thapar case 1950. So Supreme Court mentioned that they are the protector and guardian of the Indian Constitution as well as fundamental right to students. So JPSC year 2011, question number 8 says that which of the following right conferred by Constitution of India and is also available to non-citizen? It is available to non-citizen. Freedom to speech, freedom to move and settle in any part of the Indian country, freedom to acquire property and right to constitutional remedies. So which is also available to non-citizen? Student, freedom of speech, as you know, it is mentioned at Article 19 Clause 1 Subclause A. Freedom to move and settle in any part of Indian territory, Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause D and Subclause E. Acquire any property. Okay, so there was basically it is it was initially under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause F, but now it is a legal right under Article 300A, and right to constitutional remedies, Article 32, students. So what you find, students, there are few rights that is available to only citizens. So these are Article 15, 16, 19, 29 and 30. So if you see A, B and C, these all connected with Article 19. So this is not available to foreigners or any aliens. So what you find, okay, so it is not available to any foreigner, but what you find, the students, constitutional remedies, it is available to both citizen and non-citizen. I hope you all getting it. Easy, everyone? So if you feel any doubt, you just tell me. Now I'm just going to share explanation part 2. So Article 32, which deals with the right to constitutional remedies, is given to citizen as well as non-citizen. This is because many fundamental rights were also given to non-citizens. Hence, if they are violated, then non-citizens can approach to Supreme Court of India for the enforcement of those rights, students. So this is about some questions that was previously asked by different state PSC examination. Now we are going to see the 8th topic of this chapter, that is judgment related to the fundamental right. So there are a few important judgment that is important for the examination also. So we will discuss about that first and then we'll go for the MCQ. So I will just mention the outline. Okay. So if you feel doubt, just tell me. So there is a Champakam Durai Rajan versus the state of Madras in 1951. So here there was a discussion, a very huge discussion over the supremacy of fundamental right and directive principle, and later that, students, what you find, basically the legislative body came with a provision to give the social and economical reservation. Initially they said that fundamental right is superior. Okay. Then Keshav Anand Bharti case versus the state of Kerala, 1973. Very important case, students, because under this case, what you find, it mentioned that Parliament can amend any part of Indian Constitution, but they can't change without changing the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. So more discussion over the basic structure clarity. It was Minerva Mills case, 1980. It was mentioned, and here the basic structure word was introduced by the Supreme Court. And it is a famous as fundamental right case. So it is the at that time in 1973, a very big bench was seated for the judgment. After that, Golaknath versus state of Punjab in 1967. So here they mentioned that fundamental right cannot be amended for implementation of directive principle, and students, in that case also, basically Supreme Court forbid the amendment of Indian Constitution, and because initially there was no word ki Parliament will modify Constitution, but after that, student, 24th Constitution Amendment Act 1971, where they introduce, they modify Article 361 by the Indira Gandhi government. Mohini Jain versus state of Karnataka, 1992. Right to education was incorporated under right to life, and very important case, students, Minerva Vale case, that is versus Indian Union, 1980. Affirm power of the judicial review as an essential feature of the Constitution, students. Okay, so these are some important cases. Okay, and we'll discuss about these cases too in the coming chapters. Okay, so if you feel doubt, we are always open to you. Ask your doubts. Now we are going to discuss the cases related question. So it was in UPPCS and UPPCS lower examination as well as pre and re-examination. So Supreme Court has propounded that doctrine of basic structure of Indian Constitution in which of the following cases, students: Golaknath versus state of Punjab, Sajjan Singh versus state of Rajasthan, Keshav Anand Bharti case versus state of Kerala, or you can say basically there is a case that is a Sankri Prasad case versus Indian Union students. So basic structure word for the first time introduced in the 1973. Okay, so Keshav Anand Bharti case versus state of Kerala. So basically basic structure concept was introduced here, and under this case basically Supreme Court basically proposed, or you can say propounded this judgment कि Parliament can modify the Constitution of India, but they cannot break the basic structure. Getting it? Now see the explanation part 2. So doctrine of basic structure has been propounded in the Keshav Anand Bharti case versus Kerala state. Okay, so Keshav Anand Bharti versus state of Kerala, also known as fundamental right, outlined basic structure doctrine of the Indian Constitution. In this case, court ruled that basically the consistent power of Parliament under Article 368 does not enable it to alter the basic structure of Indian Constitution. This means that the Parliament cannot abridge or take away a fundamental right that forms a part of the basic structure of the Constitution. I hope you are getting it. Now just see the second question. It was in MPPSC 2019. The scope of Article 21 of Indian Constitution was expanded to right to education because the decision of Supreme Court in the case of, it is Unni Krishnan versus Andhra Pradesh, Govind versus state of Madhya Pradesh, Parmanand Katara versus state of Union, or Chameli Singh versus state of Uttar Pradesh. So basically the scope of Article 21 of Indian Constitution, it was expanded to include right to education, and basically because of the decision of the Supreme Court and under the Unni Krishnan versus Andhra Pradesh students. So here what they mention, in Unni Krishnan versus Andhra Pradesh case, Supreme Court noted that every citizen of the country has fundamental right to education guaranteed by Constitution, and it came from Article 21 of our Indian Constitution. Court also held that its content and parameter have to be determined under the light of Article 45 and 41 of the Indian Constitution, that is a part of DPSP. Okay, now then a very important case, that is Mandal case. Okay, that provided reservation to OBCs. Okay, so in the famous Mandal case 1992, the scope and extent of Article 16 clause 4, which provide for reservation of job in favor of backward class, has been examined thoroughly by Supreme Court. Which are the following decisions given by Supreme Court? Okay, so this was in MPPSC students. Just read carefully, and if you feel doubt, just tell me. So court rejected the additional reservation of 10% for poorer section of the higher caste. Now, as you know, there is a concept of economic weaker section. So if someone belonging to the upper caste, they can also be included other than OBC, SC, ST, and except other reservation. Okay, so basically 3 reservation is mainly here. So this is correct. So initially they rejected, but now it is in the form of EWS. So EWS can be used by anyone. So the court upheld the constitutional validity of 27% reservation for OBC with a certain condition. Okay, so 27% reservation is provided to the other backward class, but as you know, because of the caste census in Bihar, this reservation is increased. Okay, so the advanced section among the OBCs, that is the creamy layer, should be excluded from the list of the beneficiaries of reservation. So OBCs has 2 type of list. What? Creamy layer and non-creamy layer. So creamy layer are those, they have certain fixed amount ki if family income more than this, then that person or that family will be the part of the creamy layer society, and if they're earning below the this amount, they will be the part of the non-creamy layer. Okay, so these all 3 statement is going to be correct for the same student. So I hope you all getting it. And this Mandal case is very famous case. So statement 1, 2, 3 all are correct, and basically under this case Supreme Court given judgment. So in Supreme Court, basically this under this Mandal case, they rejected that additional reservation of 10% for the poorer section of the higher society. But now, as you can see, if someone economically weak, so in that case there is a concept for the reservation. So now you can say that now it is there. Okay, so court upheld the constitution validity of 27% reservation for the OBCs with the certain condition, that is the advanced section among the OBCs should be excluded from the list of the beneficiaries of reservation. No reservation in promotion, but later it was included, and basically reservation should be confined to initial appointment only. But there are some cases also, Indra Savani case and these cases, they held that key means it can be used for the reservation purpose too. Now there's a case, it was this question was in Bihar PSC. So this is the fourth question. Supreme Court judgment Indra Swanay versus Union of India case related to what? So regarding the issues of OBC reservation in government employment, basic structure theory, approve of the reservation on promotion of SCs, and extended reservation for the scheduled tribe, as well as none of the above or more than above students. Okay, so see, Indra Swanay case is connected with the regarding the issues of OBC's reservation in the government employment students. So this was used, and basically a very simple thing, there was 27% reservation for the OBCs, and even today this is same. RAS and RTS 2018, select the correct chronological order of the following judgment dealing with the fundamental right. Now you should know the year. Okay, so if you know the year, then you can do only these questions. Okay, so let's start and let's see. So Golaknath versus State of Punjab, this case was in 1967 students. So Keshav Anand Bharti case versus State of Kerala, so it was in 1973. And then if you see Minerva Mill case, that was in 1980. Okay, and this A.K. Gopalan versus the State of Madras, this was held in 1951. Okay, it was 50. So if you go through this, what you find, basically D will be first in the chronology, and after that students A, Golaknath case, and then C, and then B. So D, A, D, okay, sorry, it is B and then C. So D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C. So statement C means option C is going to write for the same, because it is 1988 and 1973. So if you go through the right answer students, what you find, statement C is going to be correct. So the chronology is D, A, B, C. So A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras, this was done in 1950, and in which Supreme Court says that Article 21 of the Constitution did not require an Indian court to apply due process of law standard. Okay, so basically Golaknath versus State of Punjab, Supreme Court held that Parliament has no power to amend the fundamental right of the Indian Constitution. Keshav Anand Bharti, a very important case, and it basically introduced about the basic structure doctrine. And the students Minerva Mill case, that is held that the Constitution is founded on the bedrock of balance between fundamental right and directive principles. Now see the next question, that was once again in RAS. So consider the following statement and choose the correct answer from the code given below. Through the 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1978, all the directive principles of state policy have been given preference over the fundamental right. Mentioned under Article 14 and 19 of the Indian Constitution. Now Supreme Court has laid down in its verdict in Minerva Mill case 1980 that preference given only to the directive principle of state policy mentioned under Article 39 and 39C over the fundamental right mentioned in Article 14 and 19 of Indian Constitution students. Okay, so basically students, if you see, if you go with the same, what you find, basically there is a case that was Golaknath case. Okay, so Golaknath versus State of Punjab. So Golaknath versus State of Punjab, basically Supreme Court given a judgment, fundamental right is going to be sacrosanct and no one can take it, and it is above the directive principle of state policy. Okay, and students, what you see, basically to nullify that verdict, okay, basically they mention that, you know, fundamental right can be controlled, or basically DPSP, for the DPSP implementation. So this was done by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, not by 44th. So this statement A is incorrect. And student, Supreme Court has laid down its verdict in the Minerva Mill case. Basically preference given only to the directive principle of state policy mentioned under Article 39 Clause B and Subclause C over the fundamental right mentioned under Article 14 and 19. So what you see, students, statement 2 is correct, okay, and statement 1 is incorrect. Okay, I hope you all getting it. So here the explanation 2, but we already discussed. Now we are going to discuss about the some miscellaneous question that is part of the fundamental right, but it is not included anywhere. Okay, so see the question number 1. Which of the following statement is correct? Article 23 of Indian Constitution, right to have pollution free clean environment, is implied. Article 23. So as you know, it is connected for the right against exploitation and basically forceful labor as well as human trafficking. This is here. If such an environment is engaged, the citizen have right to invoke Article 34 of Constitution for removing the policy. So now you have to choose the correct answer, students. So as you find, this is basically for the clean environment, it is your fundamental right under Article 21. Okay, so it is not under Article 23, students. Okay, so what you find, neither 1 and nor 2 is going to be right answer for the same. I am just sharing explanation for the same, students. None of the given statement is correct. Right to have pollution free clean environment is given by the protection of life and personal liberties under Article 21 of Indian Constitution. Article 23 provides right against exploitation through prohibition of human trafficking and forced labor. If the fundamental right of people are endangered, then they can directly approach to the Supreme Court. Right to constitutional remedies. Article 34 of Indian Constitution talk about the restriction of the fundamental right in the case of court martial in certain areas, students. Now, this question was in MPPSC 2010. Indian Constitution does not grant which of the following rights, students. So these all connected with the fundamental right, and just take it carefully, students. Just see it carefully. Right to equal shelter, right to equality, right to freedom of religion, right to liberty. So which is not guaranteed, okay, and Indian Constitution not guaranteeing which of the following, students. So as you know, we have freedom of equality, okay, means right to equality, freedom of religion, right to liberty too, but equal shelter, it is not included anywhere. So option A is going to write for the same, students. So this is also very, very important. And see, we already discussed about the explanation, so I'm not just wasting your time as well as mine too. Now see the third question. Which of the following is not fundamental right guaranteed by the Indian Constitution to the citizen? Right to settle in any part of Indian territory, as you know, it is under Article 19 Clause 1 Subclause E. Okay. Then right to gender equality, right to information under Article 19 Clause 1 Subclause A, and then right against exploitation under Article 23 and 24, right to gender equality, okay, it is not a fundamental right. It is not mentioned under the article. Yes, there shall be no discrimination based on the caste, sex, religion, creed and place of birth, but there is no right to gender equality, students. Okay. Sorry. Under Article 15 it is mentioned right to information is there under Article 19 clause 1 subclause A, but it is not explicitly mentioned here. So if you go with the option, just go with the option number C, students. Now see the fourth question. Which one of the following is not among the 6 fundamental rights provided by Constitution of India? So not among the 6 fundamental rights. Right to equality, as you know, we have Article 14 to 18. Right to do protest, it is not mentioned under article. Right against exploitation, 23 and 24. Right to freedom of religion, if you go for the same, what you find it is under article 25 to 28. But right to protest is not included there. So option B will be right for the same, students. So we have 6 fundamental rights: right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational right, as well as constitutional remedies. We already discussed about the same. Then we are going to discuss the Bihar PSC 2016 question. Choose the fundamental right available to Indian citizen but not to aliens. So freedom of speech and expression under Article 19, equality before law and equal protection of under Article 14, right to minorities under Article 29, and right to protection of life and liberties under Article 21. So as you know, students, there are few articles 15, 16, 19, 29 and 30. This is only available to Indians, not to foreigners or not to aliens. So what you see, basically statement 1, statement 3, this is only available to Indian, not to foreigners. So we will go with the option number 1, students. Okay, I hope you all getting it. So here we just added all. So from the given right, only freedom of speech and expression and right to minorities are available to Indian but not basically aliens. So the following are the fundamental rights which are available to Indian citizen but not to aliens: Article 15, 16, 19, 29 and 30. And this is important, students. Now see the question that was in UPPSC multiple times. Which of the following fundamental right is not available to foreigners? So equality before law and equal protection of law, as you know, Article 14, freedom of speech and expression under Article 19, freedom of life and liberties under Article 21, and right against exploitation, 23 and 24. What you find, students, which of the following is not available to foreigners? So as we already discussed, right to freedom of speech and expression, as it is under Article 19, it is only especially available to Indian students. We already discussed about the explanation portion. Now just see the 7th question and fill in the blanks. Without duties are like men without shadow. So belief without duty, rights without duty, moral without duty, work without duties. So what you find, students, this statement is here, that is, if you have right, means you have right, fundamental right, and you are not performing any duty for the nation, it means that it is men like without shadow. Okay, so right without duties are like the men without shadow. Right and duties are closely related and cannot be separated from one another. Both go side by side. These are the two sides of the same coin. Right can enjoy only in the word of the duty. Where every rights, there is a corresponding duty. When the people fail to discharge their duty properly, their rights all became meaningless. So all state means the state protects and enforce rights, and it is the duty of all citizens to be loyal to the state, and thus citizen has both right as well as duty, students. Now see, this question was in UPSC year 2017. Question number 8. In the context of India, which one of the following is the correct relationship between the rights and duty? Okay, so as you know, fundamental right under part 3 of Indian Constitution, duties was initially not there. By 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, part 4A was added under Article 51A, and initially there was 10 fundamental duties, but one more fundamental duty was added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment 86th Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, so this is important. So right are correlated with duties. Right are personal, hence independence of societies and duties. Right not include duties and are important for the advancement of personalities of Indian citizens. Duties not right important for the stability of the state students. So what is going to be a right answer for the same? So what you see, students, right are correlative with the duties. So you have to perform both. Getting it? So right are understood as entitlement or claims against the state, which are essential for the holistic development of the individual, whereas duties are moral obligation on individual for performance of certain action in the welfare of society and state. So rights and duties maybe seems like two different concepts, but they functionally related. They are, means it is just like both side of a coin. Okay, now see, the concept of right to service originated in which of the following countries, students? USA, Switzerland, Britain and China. So right to service is the part of the Great Britain. It was in Uttarakhand PSC, and those who are going to participate, as form is already released, just fill the form before the last date. Okay, so right to service is the right of an eligible person to obtain public service within the basically stipulated time limit as notified by the public authority. It was originated in the Great Britain, students. Now you have to match list 1 with the list 2 and select the correct answer from the code given below the list, students. Fundamental right, fundamental duty, and in the list 2, students, there was some important cases as well as amendment. Parliament can amend the fundamental right, doctrine of basic structure, prohibition of human trafficking and forced labor. So prohibition of human trafficking, we can start from any place, from the top to bottom or bottom to top. Prohibition of human trafficking and forced labor, it is included under Article 23. So we will match with the list 2, statement 2. Okay, doctrine of basic structure, it was introduced in Keshav Anand Bharti case. So C4. Parliament can amend fundamental right. It is basically mentioned in the Parliament can amend the fundamental right. You can, means the best answer is going to be Keshav Anand Bharti case. Okay, where basically they given judgment in the same regard format, students. So we can go in this format: prohibition of human trafficking 2. And Parliament can amend the fundamental right under the Keshav Anand Bharti case. It was declared. Doctrine of basic structure, it was in the Minerva Mill case, that is 1. And fundamental duties was added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. So we will go with this 3 A3, B4, C1 and D2. So option A is going to write for the same, students. Okay, so fundamental duty was added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, and this was recommended by a committee named as Sardar Swan Singh Committee, and a new part was added, part 4A, with article 51A and 10 fundamental duties. Okay everyone, then you have to once again match with the list 1 to list 2. List 1 is here and list 2 is here, and be very careful, it was in Chhattisgarh PSC. Habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari and quo warranto. So you must know the concept. Habeas corpus means basically to present the body. Okay, let us have the body. So basically A4. Okay, if you see mandamus, mandamus is basically if some official is not performing duty. So basically it is introduced, means we command. So B3. Prohibition is used for the court, okay, to forbid. Okay, and then we have certiorari and then quo warranto, students. Okay, so if you see about the prohibition, so writ to the subordinate court. Certiorari is a basically it is to be more fully informed. It is for the certiorari. And if you go the quo warranto, that is means by which authority. So basically prohibition 5 C5 certiorari is 1 and E basically Q warranto is 2. So 4 3 5 2 1 4 3 5 2 1 statement option C is going to be right for the same students. I hope you are getting it. So we already discussed about the same. Now see the question. It was in UPPSC, UP RO and ARO examination. Which of the following not correctly match? Okay, so abolition of untouchability under Article 17 of Indian Constitution, it is correct. Protection against arrest and detention under Article 23. As you know students, under Article 23 it is mentioned that no human trafficking and forced labor. Okay, freedom of religion under Article 25, it is also correct. Protection against the interest of minorities under Article 29 is correct. So what you see, statement B is incorrect for the same students. So I just give an explanation already, so I'm not going to read once again. Okay, and you have to once again match list 1 with the list 2. Article 16 clause, 29 clause 2, 30 clause 1 and 31 clause 1. Okay, so Article 16, okay, you have to check it, but for that purpose you need to read the provision that is mentioned under list 2 students. So no person shall be deprived of his property save by authority of law. Basically provision 2 is here. No person can be discriminated against in the matter of public appointment on the ground of race, religion and caste. Third says that all minorities, whether based on religion or language, shall have right to establish and administer educational institution of their choice. And basically 4 says that no citizen shall be denied admission into educational institution maintained by state or receiving state aid on the ground of religion, race, caste, language or any of them students. So now just see the correct means we are going to match it. Article 16 is about the prohibition, it is for the employment. Okay, so for the public employment. So if you go with the A, what you find, the second provision is more appropriate for the same. A2, basically Article 29 clause 2, so it is for the minorities. So for the minorities it is mentioned that no citizen shall be denied admission into any educational institution when that institution getting fund from the state. And if you see Article 30 clause 1, it is for the basically minorities. So it is C3 and D Article 31, that is for the property, so it is 1. So if you go with the correct one, so what you find, the students, statement A is going to be right for the same. Okay, everyone. So here the explanation part we already added. So Article 16 clause 2 is mentioning about state that no citizen shall on the ground of only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, residence or any of them is ineligible for the discrimination against the respect of any employment of office under the state. Article 29 clause 2 state that no citizen shall be denied admission into educational institution maintained by state or receiving aid out of the state fund on the ground only of religion, race, caste, sex and place of birth. 30 clause 1, it is according to this article all minorities, whether based on religion or language, shall have right to establish and administer educational institution. Article 31, that is for the no person shall be deprived of his property save by authority of law. Now once again you have to match the following, list 1 with the list 2. Right to elementary education, freedom to manage religious affairs, equality of opportunity in the matter of public employment and protection of life and personal liberties. And the another side, there is 5 statements, 5 list. So elementary education concept under Article 21 clause A students, freedom to manage the religious affair. Okay, so as it is under Article 26, we already discussed about them same. equality of opportunity in the matter of public employment, Article 16, protection of life and personal liberties, Article 21. Now you have to check it, which of the following is right for the same. So C1, A3, B4 and D5. Okay, so 3, 4, 1, 5. If you see the option, what you find, A option is going to be right for the same students. Now, fundamental right primarily protect individual from arbitrary state action. Which one of the following goes beyond and protects individual against the action of other private citizen? Select the correct answer. So MPPSC year 2013, this question was there. Okay, just opt the right answer. Article 14, 15 clause 1, 15, 16, 17, 21 clause 1 and 23. So it is basically protecting from the arbitrary action of the state. Okay, just see it. So there shall be no discrimination based on the caste, sex, religion, creed and place of birth. Okay, abolition of untouchability, and this is for what? Basically prohibition of forced labor and human trafficking. So option C is right for the same if you go with the option 2. Okay, now see, this question was in UPPCS. Which one of the following statement is true about the right to information? Right to information. It is a political right, it is constitutional right, it is a legal right, it is a social right. As you know, there is a RTI Act, Right to Information Act, and it is introduced in RTI Act. It is introduced in year 2005, and students, see, you can get the information but only in limited sense. So it is legal right. If you are getting the information, if it is not sensitive, then government can share, otherwise they can control it. So statement 3 is true. It is right to information is a legal right before enactment of the RTI Act. RTI was a part of Article 19 clause 1 subclause A, freedom of speech and expression of the fundamental, but it is not mentioned explicitly. Now it was in West Bengal Civil Services. So consider the following statement. Part 3 of Indian Constitution cover Article 12 to 35 and deal with the fundamental right of Indian citizen. You know it is correct. Right to property is listed as fundamental right in the Constitution. Initially it was listed as fundamental right, but now it is no part of this. So only statement 1 is going to be right for the same students. Now consider the following statement. Okay, UPPSC year 2011, right to education, right to equal access to the public services and right to food. Which of the following is the human right? Yes, Vishnu. Okay, our human right under Universal Declaration of Human Right. Okay, so it is means it is not in the Constitution, but yes, these all three are correct. Socially, human right, they are a part of the human right. So 1, 2 and 3 both are correct for the same. Now under which article of Universal Declaration of Human Right tell a right of nationality depend on one's wish? Everyone has right to basically right to a nationality. It was in UKPSC last year 2023, Article 15, 20, 25 and 30. Okay, so it is not in the Constitution, it is under the Universal Declaration of Human Right. And where is the Article 15? So in the last to last class I shared a photograph to you, and it is available on internet also. So just take that data, it will be good for you students. So Article 15 is mentioning about the basically this human right. Everyone has right to be a nationalist. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality or denied the right to change his nationality. Everyone has right to the nationality, students. Okay, now see the question number 20 and last question of this chapter. So according to Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to due process of law. Student, what we following? Procedure established by law. Okay, but now we are just started considering the due process of law, means we are checking the legality of the law too. Article 20 clause 2, okay, so it is not due process of law, we are following the procedure established by law. But now we are checking, but not in every sense. Article 20 clause 2, Indian Constitution, no person shall be prosecuted and punished for the same offence more than once. So it is for the double jeopardy. Okay, so what is fine, student? This is also correct. Now, according to Article 14 of Indian Constitution, states shall not deny any person equality before the law and equal protection of law within territory of India. So this is also correct. Now you need to see what they want to know. Which of the following provision given is not correct? So all are correct. So none of the above. Getting it? So this is all about the today's session, as well as this is all about this chapter, that is fundamental right. And students, as I already told you, this session is basically based on a book that is specially published by Arihant, that is called as Prelims Possible. So I recommend you one thing, you must go with the books, and it is available for every subject: history, geography, polity, economics, as well as general sciences. And as you know, it is 100% error free. There is very detailed explanation that is help you in the building concept. Along with that, students, it will help you in the mains answer writing too. Previous year question bullets, as well as free package, chapter test, and the typical knowledge plus with the few important questions, students. Okay, so this is all about the today's